as many people know, that Charlie Kirk has been assassinated. And in the past, when I've seen certain people that were killed or assassinated or something, it was something very distant from me, and so it didn't really emotionally touch me whatsoever. And somehow with Charlie, it was something completely different. I noticed when I got the news, I was like, what the fuck? And I had seen some of his debates before on YouTube, and it helped me also to figure out what I'm believing. Some things that he says I believe as well, some things I don't. But it helped me to just get a perspective on things and how to understand things. And then suddenly that he was killed, and then of course I saw the video of that, and that's also terrible. And then knowing that his wife and his kids were sitting there as well, they were there when it happened, right? So they got to see that, like, and that feeling also made me go into tears. And then the feeling of like, well, I would want to be there for my son, and I don't want to lose him. That's something that I truly felt. And I was shocked by the responses that people gave. Truly, truly shocked. And that shock, just to for the people that don't know, there were responses of people saying that it's a good thing that he got killed. And regardless of what someone thinks about his beliefs and his opinions, if you decide to condone killing for someone sharing their opinions, then you're dabbling in freedom of speech and you're taking that out. And I think it is such an important thing. But on an even deeper layer, if people think that killing someone who's having a certain perspective is actually helping, that's where I'm like, oh my God, then. And that's why the heart of being human for me is the podcast is about this ability to go deeper into deeper layers of existence and to realize that no, it's really about getting more into a state of love and appreciation and care and compassion. And so I noticed a fire went inside of me when I saw these people reacting with like, yeah, it's a good thing that he was killed and he shouldn't have said all these things that he said. And not a fire of anger or resentment, but a fire of compassion. Compassion for their ignorance, because as soon as you are having this kind of a reaction towards something outside of you, you're actually having that reaction inside of you as well. You're the one actually that's hurting from that. The pain goes inwards. It's something inside of you. And I truly believe, and we had an episode also about ayahuasca, of course. And it is something that has been so important in my life, this plant medicine. Why? Because I got to realize on a deeper layer that we are all one, that we are all connected, that eventually what happens inside of us is being reflected outside of us. And so I fully believe that if we want to change the reality around us, it's not by like fighting and like killing and all these things, but it's by changing something within us and making ourselves more compassionate, more loving, more open, being able to, of course, we can feel the anger, we can feel the sadness or whatever that someone creates by having their opinions, but then to be able to, of course, have the dialogue with someone, that's completely fine. But to realize that the emotions that are behind it, when someone has a certain perspective and we feel something about it, that's ours. That's ours for us to do something with. And I don't believe that anything good can come out of reacting from anger or react because you just create more of it.
You mean like due to the assassination? To make such a choice?
That someone chooses to do the assassination, yes. But then also that people prescribe to that or say that it's a good thing that it happened. Meaning they condone it and they say it's good and it should be there. And then I feel like, okay, well, instead of reacting like that, what if you notice you might have the thought inside of you that says, oh, I actually feel somehow it's good. Oh, wow, interesting. So I feel it's good that someone is being killed for the perspectives and the opinions that they have. What does that actually mean inside of me? Why do I have that anger or resentment inside of me so strongly that I feel that. Because the thought could come up, but then to speak it out and to express it like that, I think then you're already past consciousness. Because if you're staying in your awareness and you notice yourself reacting like that, it's like, okay, I'm having a reaction. I also have the reaction sometimes. If Noah is crying, then I can also sometimes have the thought of like, can he just fucking shut up, you know? And I get a little bit of an angry feeling inside of me. I don't do anything with that angry feeling though. I just have it and I observe it and I allow it to pass through me. And I understand that he is also just expressing something and I'm just feeling frustration that I don't understand him. And that's why I process through that emotion basically, so that I can let it go again. And then I notice usually I can also be more present with him. And funnily enough, when I've processed through it, often on, for example, a night that I'm bringing him to bed and it takes a bit of time before he's sleeping, then I'm laying next to him and I feel this anger and this frustration. Maybe thoughts come of like, I still wanted to do all these other things that I don't get done because he's taking so much time, and that I just like, okay, time to slow down, Ruben. Time to slow down. Can you just be present here right now with him here? Just allow everything that his crying is touching inside of you to just completely be there. Just let it touch you. Just let it touch you. Okay, and just breathing in and out more intensely usually helps me to create more awareness, to observe better what I'm actually experiencing without reacting on it. And then I come to a point where I can really stay in stillness with it. And I calm my system down again and I can be there, and then the reflection is that he also calms down and he usually is able to sleep better. And that's just a small example, but I think it really applies to this as well, that with everything that we're noticing, I'm just feeling a lot of feeling of like my fire inside of me is right now like there's just a lot of people that I can still help and that could be more in connection to their heart.
How do you mean help?
Help in the sense that when you are feeling so much anger and you think that it's a right thing that someone got killed for their opinions, help in the sense of understanding that you're just reacting on your emotions instead of learning to observe them and heal them. Because eventually it's somehow just a reaction that comes again from some kind of a past experience, not just related to this, but also something in the past that you experienced that is just brought up again. And then the question is always when a trigger comes up, right? Someone pushes our button and then we can choose to trigger and react on what they pushed in us, or we can choose to observe and see whatever happened inside of us.
When such an action comes from whatever movement it is, if you decide to not only kill another man's opinion, but actually kill the man itself, then you're supporting something way worse, like there underneath, that the thought of whenever something is not to my liking, when it comes to either patterns or when it comes to feelings or, as you said, previous circumstances or situations that you experienced, then it's okay to kill it off. Like, so this is society. Apparently, you cannot go in a dialogue, or, you cannot share each other's opinion, even though they can be very different from each other. Well, it's actually very interesting to learn from the difference of opinions, right? It's just an opinion.
The underlying thing that's the important thing. We talked about it in the previous podcast. If the field, like what Albert Einstein said, if the field is the sole governing agent of the particle, and in the field, let's say, is energy, to give it a name, then if the energy of something has a specific intention, which is hatred, then that's influencing the particle, and you're creating more of that in matter. You're creating more. And this, if someone is listening to this and does not get anything of what I'm saying, that's why I feel so much of this purpose and passion to hold more ayahuasca ceremonies and also to speak out more. Because through an experience like that, I have learned that energy is everything, and that if we want to solve something outside of us, then it starts inside of us. And if that would be more of a baseline for everyone, and oh my God, how amazing would it be if I could have all sorts of political leaders going through a ceremony like that? It would completely shift the way that they would communicate. If I sometimes look at what happens also during debates that I've seen in the second chamber, like the Dutch government having conversations, is like chicken, like like a chicken hen or something that are like fighting each other. Like it's the consciousness is not there to
It's
understand
childish.
that if you're constantly fighting, you're creating more of it. And that's what I came down to when I saw this all happen and I looked into it further. I'm like, okay, that's what I'm getting out of it, And I think that eventually that's maybe the important thing, that he is a martyr for something that we can get out of it. And I hope that what we get out of it is not that people start then fighting more, but it's probably also going to happen, right? That now the let's say, quote unquote, the right is going to be really like, oh my God, and now we have to fight back and we have to do all sorts of things against them, and instead of being able to change it around.
That's such a rough spot, man. I mean, because once something like this occurred or happens, I mean, let's put it in retro perspective, right? So let's say your sister or my sister, she has an opinion, someone doesn't like her opinion, and they kill her, right? What would be the first thing going on in your own head?
Yeah, fucking kill the motherfucker.
Fucking
of
kill the
course.
motherfucker, right?
Of course, but I wouldn't.
Okay.
So right, this is this Allowism, this belief that I've kind of received and I've talked about also during one of the podcasts, where you need to be able to allow every thought and feeling, in the sense of allowing it to be there, not judging yourself for thinking or feeling it, because as soon as you judge it, it becomes the shadow. It goes into the dark, right?
Yeah.
And then it becomes, and then it's like it festers because you're trying to avoid it. You're judging it. You're pushing it somehow away, or you're fully identifying with it and you're reacting, or you're going into it and you're doing the thing that your thought is telling you. If we have this ability to just be able to be there when we observe that our thoughts and our feelings are in an emotion that we do not want to see more of in the world, and we have that ability, then we can see those thoughts and we can feel those feelings, and I can in that moment also really just feel like, motherfucker, what did he do? And he killed, and I would not go for a hunt to find this guy and kill him. I would probably, after some time of just being angry, have a process about being able to release that anger through maybe, I use this exercise of screaming in a pillow or hitting a pillow and just needing to transmute that anger. And then maybe after I've transmuted that anger, I've really felt through it, there might be something like an inspiration that comes, like, it's really important to educate people that, killing is not the right thing, or that we create a more safe environment, or whatever the inspiration is that follows through out of it. And it's not reacting on anger or sadness or whatever. It's transmuting that.
Yeah. Yeah. So in order to stop the cycle, you have to become what? Like a pacifist yourself.
What do you mean with a pacifist?
Wasn't that the word for it? Peacekeeper.
I just want to know what you mean with it so that we have clarity
like
on it.
Peacekeeper, right?
Yeah.
So maybe, you experience that. Okay. And then you have all this anger, you channel it, you transmute it. And then you as one person are able to stop that cycle. Okay. So maybe there's a big ripple effect. I mean, that's how energy goes. It grows, right?
Mm-hmm.
More attention you give, the more it grows. So whatever side that's going, it will grow that side. So it will expand in love and in bliss and in forgiveness and, all that. Sometimes I really fear for society when I see how immediately, like how fast society responds and how fast they like, okay, this happened. Now we need to answer back. Like this retaliation. It's a big conflict.
It's a conflict. Actually, the conflict is all about inside of us. Because I have the root of anger, because I have the root of resentment towards people. Like you said, if my sister gets killed, I'll get angry and I want to kill the guy as well. Because I have that inside of me, I can see it outside of me as well. It's incredibly obvious if you look from the energetic perspective of it, and the outside world is a reflection of the inner world, then why not be able to heal these things inside of us? And so it just is an invitation for me as well when I see these painful things being said outside, not just to reflect onto them again and say, oh, what a terrible people they are, but to feel first that I'm feeling that, maybe if I'm feeling like, oh, they're so terrible, and then just feeling that inside of me and feeling that until I come to a point where I can just surrender into that feeling, and then I can look at those people and I can see compassion, because they do not know what they do not know. They are just simply reacting out of their programs. That's also not who they want to be. They don't want to spread hatred. If you would ask anyone, do you want to spread hatred? No one will say yes to that.
Yeah. No,
right?
I don't think so.
But there's people that are expressing that though, and they are showing that hatred, but they're unknowing about it. Actually, that is what they're doing. They're simply just reacting on the program that kicks in. Someone gets hurt. That's a good thing. This person should get hurt. Maybe it was the same when you were a little boy or girl in class, and someone hurt you. You know, someone pushed you, and then afterwards, someone else came up, stood up for you, and pushed this guy back. And then it felt right. You know, he pushed him back. Yeah, he deserves that. That's the same seed. That's the same kind of seed that then in your childhood comes back again now when with this assassination. But it isn't the right thing. It is the invitation. The invitation is when a trigger inside of you gets pushed. It's almost like there's all sorts of red buttons we have on our body that says do not push. Of course someone's going to push it. It's going to happen because it's something that you're resonating. It's in your frequency. It's in your field. This is going to happen. And so someone presses it. Of course it's going to happen. But then in the moment that it is being pressed, instead of saying, oh, why are you pressing my button? No, say, wow. Another trigger's coming up. Time to look into it. What's this? I'm excited. And of course, we're not always excited, but if we can practice that excitement of curiosity, of something inside of me is being triggered, I get to heal something new so that I get to experience a different reality. Yeah, that's the spiritual path, man. That's the way to enlightenment. That's the way to having a more loving world. I 100% believe that. Do you agree with that as well?
You know, in all fairness, I mean, even apart from the special effect of ayahuasca and how beautiful that can be, because it is beautiful, apart from that, just the quality and capabilities and possibility of reflecting on situations, on seeing your patterns, on being open, on having the guts and the dare and the will to work for your soul, for your feelings, for everything that's going on here, for every, trigger point that in some way will get activated. If people would only do that, just that, then, oh my God, such a different world it would be.
Mm-hmm. In my beginning 20s, when I started to do the spiritual work, to do ayahuasca, to get into deeper states of consciousness through meditation and through learning to observe my thoughts, vipassana, 10 days of meditating, 12 hours per day to just observe whatever is happening inside of you. It's like, you can't imagine. You're just sitting still for 10 days. And I got the most angry that I've ever become. I got so pissed off for the fact that I just needed to sit on a pillow and I couldn't do anything and I couldn't think and wow, what all the patterns of the mind that come up once you're just creating stillness. It's incredible. You don't even need to get triggered by the outside world. Just sit still on a mountain and you'll get triggered by your own thoughts that are popping up out of the depth of your subconscious.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's the most amazing once you then learn how to just be present with that and to move through that and to release that and to let go of that. It's like, oh my God, what a release. And it opens up. It opens up something inside of you. It makes life more joyful again, because once we let our programs dictate our life, our world becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It's like, if life was supposed to be a playground, but you take it from the side of your programming, then maybe you once felt the glide, for example, if you're in a playground, right? Or the swing, you fell off of it. And so you hurt yourself. And now you develop the program. If I am on a swing, I get hurt. Then you will never get on the swing anymore. And the same happens at one point with the slide, or, with another kid, you're trying to play and suddenly they make a wrong move and they suddenly kick you, not on purpose, but it just happens, and you're like, oh, other people are very dangerous. I gotta be very careful with other people. And you're building up all these layers of trauma. And at one point, you make your world so incredibly small because of that. But if instead you see all these all these situations that happened in your past, and you just realize, no, there was just something inside of me to learn. And I love this word pronoia, because basically when we're letting our trauma dictate our life, we're becoming more and more paranoia. We're constantly looking outside of us and seeing the possibility of danger everywhere around. That's kind of the concept of paranoia. But then once we understand that all these situations that happened in the past are not because that's how the world is, but simply because they were showing us something or giving us an opportunity to spiritually grow, now we can turn into pronoia, which is the ability to see that everything happens for a reason. Everything is there to teach you something, to show you something in your life. And when you're living from pronoia perspective, life becomes a lot more fun, because now things aren't anymore just negative, but they are just a opportunity to learn. And that's the fire, man. Let's fucking stand for that in whatever it is that we are doing. You know, it's also in your acting. By choosing specific roles, you can also have that influence by having specific stories portrayed, so that people still understand the hero's journey, that we do go through certain things in our life that are shit, but that if we are strong enough to move through them and learn from them and have compassion and be the hero of our own life, then we can move through that, and we can actually come to a point where we achieve the thing that we want to achieve and help the world at the same time. I think that's the essence. And if any takeaway from this, of course, you take away from it what you want, but if any takeaway, then what I would like to spread is to spread more awareness of whatever you're feeling, whatever it is. Also, when you're feeling that it was the right thing that he was killed, the feeling is okay. The thought is okay. Don't judge it for having it. Just observe where it's coming from. Don't act on it. Don't start speaking it out to other people, because now you're identified fully with the thought and the emotion to the point that you're speaking it out. And the next step to speaking it out is acting on it, and you start doing it yourself. No, let's not go there. But let's fully allow the thought and the feeling, observe where it's coming from, and then to move through it and to see if you can transmute it into love, which there's a lot of different tools to do that. We're not going to go into that during this podcast. But that's what the heart of being human is all about. Really connecting back to this art of the heart and connecting with our hearts again.